definitely talking the hottest, most exciting female music ensemble since you know who. So please give it up, ladies and gentlemen, for Blaque.
Oh, baby, bring it on to me. Bring it on. Give me your time, your love, your space, your energy. It's not a single question that we can make this right. 'Cause it's you who I need every day and night. Oh, baby, bring it all to me. But I don't need no fancy cars or diamond ring. Ooh, baby, bring it all to me. We on that soul train, come on. Give me your time, your love, your space, your energy. Bring it on.
New at 11, we talked to the parents of a famous singer and actress hit and killed while walking on a busy highway.
Reed was a protege of TLC's Lisa Left Eye Lopez, who also died in a tragic accident. Reed's mother says this was eerily similar.
She was full of life, tenacity, and a visionary.
Hey, she was a soldier. I try and be strong, but the strongest is trend.
Gwinnett County Police and Reed's parents are trying to piece together the story about the moments before she was hit and killed here on Lawrenceville Highway, north of Lilburn, Friday night. But today, her parents tell me that she was on the phone when she was hit.
She was on the phone. She was walking across the street on the phone. The next thing, she's on the floor.
But I'm sure it played a big part in it. We're not looking to be victims. We're not seeking to be angry. But we do need a resolve.
Police tell me no charges are pending against the driver who hit her. They say the driver stopped and called for help, and her passenger performed CPR.
And it was right before Lisa's birthday. But here it is now. We're facing it.
But as far as where Blaque goes, you can't really, replace somebody. It's almost like trying to replace Left Eye. No, it's no replacement.
Do you have a credit card, medical, or personal loan debt? PDSDebt helps people get out of debt. Are you feeling burdened under credit card bills, personal loans, or medical debt? Try PDSDebt instead and discover why thousands of people trust PDS to save them time and money.
PDSDebt does more than just help you manage your debt. They empower you to take control. With their technology, they go beyond the numbers to understand your unique financial situation. No more cookie-cutter solutions, just a clear path to financial freedom that fits your lifestyle.
And here's the best part. There's no minimum credit score.
Whether your credit is bad or fair, they're here to help you save more, pay off your debt faster,
and start putting your money back where it belongs, in your savings. Getting started is easy. Just go to PDSDebt.com/Leah Gordone to complete your free assessment and to see what options are available to you. Remember, every day you wait is costing you money. Get started with your free data analysis in just 30 seconds at PDSDebt.com/Leah Gordone. Take back control by visiting PDSDebt.com/Leah Gordone today.
Natina Reed was born on October 28, 1980, in Queens, New York, into a large, spiritually grounded and intellectually driven family. Her father was a reverend and her mother, a doctor, emphasized discipline and ambition. She grew up with 3 siblings, and after her parents divorced, Natina's family expanded to include step-parents and step-siblings. She was also the cousin of Farrah Franklin, a former member of Destiny's Child. From a young age, Natina radiated charisma and creativity. She was the kind of child who could light up a room, whether performing in church, writing songs, or acting out scenes she made up on the spot.
She was brought up in a strict Christian home. Her dad was a pastor. She has music in her blood. Her father sings. Her uncle plays instruments. So she was very instrumental as well, and she played by ear. She had a big personality. We realized This is a child that is already destined for greatness. She always had her room door locked. I said, Natina, what are you doing there? Oh, I'm writing my raps. Oh, you want to be a rapper? Yep.
At just 4 years old, her family relocated to Atlanta, Georgia, a move that would shape her future. Atlanta in the 1990s was a cultural epicenter for Black music and creativity, and Natina thrived in that environment. She dreamed of becoming everything from Miss America to a veterinarian, actress, and entertainment attorney. By age 8, Natina had already modeled for Macy's and Bloomingdale's, acted in a hot dog commercial, and written jingles, one of which was purchased by Sprite. She attended Cedar Grove High School, where she participated in school plays and was known for her quick wit and poetic mind. She also played drums in her father's church.
God, I'm in love with Michael Jackson. Let me see who else. I like Janet Jackson. I like Prince, Kevin Campbell, Whitney Houston, like do Alanis Morissette, Shania Twain. I like different.
Her family often described her as a creative genius, someone who could turn everyday moments into art. It was only a matter of time before the world would take notice. That pivotal moment came in the mid-1990s when Natina was around 15 or 16 years old. She was introduced to Lisa Left Eye Lopez of TLC through Lisa's brother, Ronald Lopez, who was actively scouting talent at the time.
I had a partner, Eric Arnold, and we had a company called Black House. And somebody told me about Natina, how creative she was and she could really rap. Natina was a firecracker, explosive energy. She did a rap that she wrote, and immediately it reminded me of my sister Lisa.
Ronald was immediately struck by Natina's lyrical ability, distinctive voice, and magnetic presence. He hired her to write for TLC, and she quickly became known as the group's official writer. Music executive Tommy Mottola, then head of Sony Music, also recognized her potential and encouraged her to pursue songwriting professionally. Lisa saw so much promise in Natina that she decided to build a group around her. That vision led to the creation of Blaque, with Natina as the central figure, joined by Shamari Fears and Brandi Williams.
What's that? The power of what? Woo! The power to make all you dance. Like this.
The discovery and formation of Blaque was a collaborative effort between Ronald and Lisa, but it was Lisa who truly took the girls under her wing.
4 years ago, I started Left Eye Productions, officially. So now I have a group called Blaque, and it's my first release on Sony. 3 beautiful young ladies. They can sing their hearts out.
Natina and Shamari were already friends from school and had previously worked together on music projects.
When I first met Shamari, I kind of felt like I knew she was going to be around me for a long time, and I wasn't mad at it because I liked her a lot. I liked Shamari a lot when I first met her. So what about now? I like you now.
They met Brandi during an audition for Lisa's production company, Left Eye Productions.
When I first met Brandi, I thought she was so sweet. And I was so happy that I finally found somebody that looks like me. Take a look. When I first met Natina, I thought that she was really interesting, like a really interesting person that you would want to get to know, she dressed a little different than most people that I knew. Her vibe was kind of different, so she was kind of interesting, like an interesting person. Love you guys. I love you.
Natina was 19 years old when the trio officially signed with Left Eye Productions.
I always looked up to TLC, and I'm sure Brandi did too. So just coming underneath Lisa was just incredible. Like, oh my God, Lisa wants to work with us. Because first, like Brandi said, Ronald Lopez was the one that discovered us. But then Lisa came and she was like, nah, I'm taking that group away from you. It's going to be my group now. So
She really just stole y'all.
She stole us away from She took us away from Ronald.
Under Lisa's mentorship, Blaque quickly rose to prominence. Media outlets often referred to Natina as Lisa's protege, and Lisa's influence was evident in the group's sound, style, and confidence. Blaque would go on to achieve platinum success, becoming one of the defining girl groups of the late 1990s.
97. We thought we was going to come out in 98. But actually, it took 2 years because we was trying to get all the right material and all the right producers and stuff. And until we got it right, they weren't going to put out just anything.
Under the mentorship of Lisa's, Natina co-founded Blaque, short for believing in life and achieving a quest for unity in everything. Natina, known for her sharp lyricism and bold personality, became the group's creative core and standout voice.
Sir, we're a little bit ready. I was keeping it in the last night, but I saw it in the crowd. She wasn't your type. It didn't seem like you were sweet, though. Boy, you better let her know that. You know where she lives at night. You know where she sleeps at night. If you care about her, you better let her know. Yo, there are times when people hand us material and they don't know exactly where to take the song, so they hand it to me, Brandi, or Shamari. And what we do is we write to it, and as soon as we finish writing to it, we get the other girls' opinions. Sometimes we might not always have everything, like the verses or the chorus. So we'll say, what you think about this? You vibing on this? Okay. And one of the other girls will take the song, and then after she's finished, we all collaborate, and then that's when you get the universal sound that Blaque has.
Blaque auditioned for Tommy Mottola about 6 months after the group was formed. Impressed by their talent and potential, Mottola offered them a record deal with Columbia Records, a subsidiary of Sony.
Once we got with Lisa, it was just like maybe 6 months later and we got a record deal.
Yeah.
But we had both been trying in other groups before that to get record deals. I had auditioned for 10 different record labels before finally coming into Blaque. It only took us 6 months with Lisa. So, you know, she flew us out to New York. We met with Tommy Mottola over there at Sony Music. What song did we sing?
We had a 3-song demo. So it was a whole production.
Yes.
We had a 3-song demo. Natina used to write a lot of our songs back when we first started. So we did I Do. She used to beat on the wall. Remember?
Yes,
we sang I Do. She did a song called Fell to the Ground. We did that. And we did a song called Rainbow Drive that we all wrote together. And that was our 3-song demo. We had a little showcase in his office. And we were so nervous. You know, we did our little 3 songs. And then he sat us down and said, well, what y'all want? And we looked around and was like, we want a deal. He was like, well, you already got that. What else you want? We was like, oh.
Dang.
Blaque made their debut in the late 90s, appearing in music videos for Lil' Kim's 1997 remix of Not Tonight and Jermaine Dupri's 1998 holiday track Someday at Christmas.
Come on! Alright, y'all. Y'all remember this? This next song is dedicated to all the lovers in the house tonight. Now, if you have a baby,
in 1999, they gained major exposure as the opening act for NSYNC's tour and TLC's fan mail tour. The girls were making appearances everywhere, steadily building their name.
What is going on here? What is going on here? What is going on here? What is going on?
Practicing our steps for the show tonight.
You are. You need to take those steps out of your show because they are so tired.
Well, who are you?
You are sorry. I am the world's greatest dance choreographer.
What do you think we need?
You need to get rid of the lithography. Okay, shoot. All right.
And who's gonna be our dancer?
I don't think so. Though often compared to TLC and other rising groups like Destiny's Child and 702 for their sound and style, they stayed confident in their unique identity.
Yeah, we're not sick and tired of being compared to TLC.
It's wonderful.
It's a bad thing. I mean, you know, girl groups get compared, you know, and there's what's wrong with getting compared to a multi-millionaire group, you know? It's not a bad thing, so. And Lisa's definitely 100% in our corner, so it's not a bad thing at all.
Meanwhile, as they worked on their debut album, Natina was placed to collaborate with R. Kelly, leading to the co-writing of 808, one of their biggest hits.
She's got a 9 to 5, but coming in after 12.
Yeah, and you know what? It was the last song.
That y'all recorded?
It was the last one. We thought we were done. The album was done.
Yeah.
We picked a single. It was time to go. and they called and said, "You're going to Chicago to work with R. Kelly." And we were like, "What?" We heard the record. We hated it.
He was on, he was singing on the demo. She's got a 9 to 5. I was like, ooh, no. He had that fast vibrato too. Yeah. We were like, oh no.
I'm not quite sure. But then y'all went to Chicago.
We
Cabrini
did.
Green.
Yes, we did. We got to
Cabrini Green.
Chicago late at night. Rob was not there.
Oh Lord.
He doesn't like to start. He didn't like to start recording until midnight.
Yes.
So yeah. So we got there. It was midnight. He didn't come. He wasn't there
he
until
wasn't
what
there.
time did he show up?
Probably about 6 a.m.
We waited.
Wait, so y'all in the studio by yourselves till 6 a.m.?
With Lisa.
Lisa was not leaving
with
us.
Right.
She
Okay.
made
Shout out,
Yes.
Shout out Lisa. Shout out
Yes.
That's the big
Yes.
visionary.
Yeah. She flew up there with us.
Yeah,
She
that
stayed
vision.
that
I don't know if
whole
she knew.
time.
You know what I'm saying? I don't know if she
I know
knew
she do,
something.
but
I think
so
she knew.
she came with y'all to the studio.
Mhm.
Yep.
She was that hands-on.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
So-
she was with us the entire ride of the
cool.
first
That's cool.
album.
So when it was my turn to go in and sing, and he had to go in there in the vocal booth and kind of like pump me up a little bit. He was like, "Man, you just got to do it." He said, "I ain't been asleep in 3 days." I said, "Well, shoot, how can I even function without sleep?"
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I went in there and I just sang, and I was supposed to say, "Just let them go, what the hell?" And I said, "I'm not going to curse." I said, "I'm not going to say the hell word." And then he said, "Well, just say what the deal." So I said, "Just let them go, what the deal."
Lisa and I cut those background vocals. We went in.
Wait, what?
Yeah. Lisa was like, "Let's just go. Brandi, you can go in there and sing." So we just started doing the backgrounds. We went and started the background vocals before he got there. And so it was like half of it was
Their self-titled debut album, released in 1999, went platinum. The group's second single, Bring It All to Me, featuring NSYNC's JC, was just as successful as their first.
When you're trying to get with someone, it should never be about money, cars, diamonds. There you are, woo, looking as fine as can be.
Today, the track is recognized as one of Billboard's 100 greatest girl group songs of all time. Natina co-wrote 7 of the album's 14 tracks, including I Do, which she wrote at just 14.
I do, check it out. I do. Give him the love that he wants. I do. Give him the love that he needs.
I Do is our second single written by no other than Natina Reed. And during the verses, it has like this R&B hip hop feel, but then when you get to the chorus, it like totally flips into this Motown Supreme like feel.
I think you'd like it. Check it out. Check it out.
The music video gave Natina the opportunity to team up with her protege on screen.
I got a booger out. Hold up.
When we first started doing I Do, we enhanced our moves and made them visually explicit so you can see them and they can look big and great and fantastic to you. So basically, we faked the part. Most of the stuff we did was us doing it, but with the flying and stuff, some of that was fake. Yeah. Sorry.
The group earned multiple award nominations and won Best New R&B Artist at the 2000 Billboard Video Awards. Blaque were rising stars gaining attention with their debut album When Hollywood Came Calling. Thanks to their growing popularity and bold image, they were offered roles in the film, originally titled Cheer Fever, without even auditioning. The movie, now known as Bring It On, went on to become a cult classic.
All right, we're sweet. We got the whip, we can't be beat. We're the best, our team's too cool. We got the class to rock this school. Go Taurus, go Taurus, go Taurus. Our game is fierce and we are hip, so get on back. You can't touch this. Our game is bad, we're without peer, so get that weak mess out of here. Tried to sell our bit, but you look like we're the ones who are down with it.
In 2000, Natina starred in the teen comedy Bring It On as Janelope, a role that became iconic. The true meaning behind Bring It On goes far beyond cheerleading competitions and teen drama.
You ripped off those cheers.
It's a sharp commentary on cultural appropriation, racial inequality, and the systemic erasure of Black creativity in mainstream spaces.
I said, it's cold in here. I said there must be control to the atmosphere. I said, oh, Rio, ice, ice, ice.
Enjoy the show?
Yes, were the ethnic festivities to your liking today?
Can we just beat these Buffys down so I can go home? I'm on curfew, girl.
Y'all been coming up here for years trying to steal our routine. What are you talking about? Burr, it's cold in here. I said there must be some toros in the atmosphere. I know you didn't think a white girl made that up.
Despite their success, Blaque's momentum was disrupted by label issues. Their second album, Blaque Out, was shelved in the US. Additionally, Matthew Knowles released one of Blaque projects without their consent, leaving the group devastated.
I mean, we have so many songs that the world has not even heard, but definitely Blaque Out. Blaque Out was an album that was supposed to come out. That was our sophomore album. So that was the album that was coming out from Columbia.
Yeah, because somebody said that how come it was released in Japan and not here in
That right there was just really hard for us because that was the album that we executive produced. We had a lot of energy and time put into that album, and then they let us go. We lost that deal, and then Matthew Knowles took the records and put it out. I don't know what happened with that. He bought I guess because he's like the man at Columbia Records at the time. With Destiny's Child, everything was going on. So I guess he had the power to go there and get something that we worked so hard on to make come to fruition and just put it out. And at that point, we didn't even have a record deal or the means to even promote the songs because there was no money behind us. There was no music videos. There was no promotion. There was no nothing. So that really hurt.
Tensions within the group also surfaced, including a physical altercation between Natina and Brandi.
The girls went to fighting, and it was really bad. We didn't like each other. We didn't want to see each other. It was awful.
I remember we all had separate rooms and we were on the phone with Johnny, our manager at the time. And we were having a conference call meeting with him. Natina must have said something to me that I just was like, you know what? This is the last time she gonna say this or whatever she had done to me. So then she goes to Natina's room and she started banging on Natina's door. She opened that door and we just started going at it. I mean, like full-fledged going at it, okay?
I mean, dogs swinging, wigs swinging, everything swinging in the hotel room. And they probably had the biggest brawl of their lifetime.
We got kicked out of the hotel.
Which Brandi later described as a moment of growing pains. Even Natina mentioned in past interviews that no matter how much they argued or disagreed, nothing could ever break the bond they shared as a group.
That the one thing that is so amazing about this group right here, we can argue and have like the worst fight and hate everybody, and not want to see each other ever again in life. But when we get on stage, it's a totally different chemistry. You won't even understand. Like, it comes out. It's just amazing.
You're cheating. No, I'm sorry. You started off cheating. You didn't tell me to win the game. I can't play if I don't know how to play it. Okay.
People don't realize is we see each other 24/7. Just like being in a house with your sisters and stuff, and they see each other so much that you can't help but have a disagreement. And what people don't realize is that's okay. It's okay for someone to feel a different way, and it's okay for everybody not to agree at the same time. Blaque is a good combination together. And no matter who might try to break us up or take our place, exactly. It's a chemistry that we have that nobody else will be able to format.
That same year, the group was dropped from their label.
By that time, we were going through some major issues. Natina and our manager, Johnny Wright, they clashed a lot. So after we shot the video for our first single, Natina fires Johnny Wright. Natina, she goes to Tommy Mottola and says, "You got to deal with me now." And Tommy Mottola didn't like that. So we got dropped. The label dropped us. Devastating. I never, ever thought that would happen to us. It was just like, wow, a real reality check. We have Lisa saying that, she's going to help us do whatever we have to do. That felt good because I felt like, oh, there's hope. Lisa never let us down.
Their challenges didn't stop there, unfortunately. In 2002, Blaque faced a heartbreaking loss with the passing of their mentor and biggest champion, Natina, who shared a deep personal connection with Lisa, was especially devastated.
Hard to believe that indeed she is gone. We're joined now by two of her good friends. Natina Reed joins us from Atlanta. She was a member of the group Blaque. Lopez formed the group around Natina and is the godmother to Natina's child. Natina, let me start with you.
Lisa was just the most kindest person on this earth. You know, she had a lot of questions about life. She was very curious, like a child. She was innocent. You know, she never understood certain things, and she had a lot of questions that was unanswered. I always told her that she had a very big heart, and that I hope that one day somebody will give back to her the way she has given to many other people, including myself. I just remember the good times about Lisa as well as, you know, the crazy side of her.
Without Lisa's guidance and support, the group struggled to find their footing and sustain the momentum they had built. Despite the setback, Natina remained determined and secured a deal with Elektra Records.
So now because Lisa's gone, Natina is like, yo, I'm stepping up to the plate. I'm going to make sure that I get you girls a deal. She flew herself to New York City. She sat down with Sylvia Rohn of Elektra Records, and she talked her way into Sylvia Rohn saying, yes, I'll give Blaque a record deal.
Blaque recorded their third album, Torch, with Missy Elliott, but creative differences led them to shelve the project. In 2004, Blaque released I'm Good for the Honey soundtrack, which was co-written by Natina.
Even if I leave alone, I'm good. And even if you come along, I'm good.
The song became their highest charting single in the UK. Not long after the group quietly disbanded, Natina stepped away from the spotlight for a time, and although a reunion was planned in 2012, those hopes were tragically cut short by her untimely passing. In the early 2000s, Natina began a high-profile relationship with rapper and producer Corrupt Ricardo Emmanuel Brown. Known for his work with Death Row Records and as one half of the Dog Pound, the two met through their mutual connection to Lisa.
Yeah, rest in peace to Lisa Left Eye Lopez, because she's the one who introduced me to Natina when she was young, because I knew her all her life from 16 on, 15 on. I knew Natina until she grew up as an adult. It's one of the reasons why I loved her, because I knew her. So, when, you know, the first record I ever heard, because Lisa was like, when I went to Stone Mountain, Lisa was like, yeah, I got this new group, Blaque. Listen to this record. And she played this record called Mind of a King.
Wondering what you're thinking next. And is your mind that too complex? So can I escape to where you are and find a place down in your heart? It's a shame that this whole game has got me going insane. So let's go deep, deep into the minds of the king. And who once was in love. Should I hide behind me? Oh, let's go far.
Jesus Christ. It blew me away. I was like, yeah, the words. Because, you know, the first thing I'm on is the words. That's right. I'm an MC, for Christ's sake. And I love the music, but the words first. And then I said, rewind it. And then I heard the music and everything else. I was like, who is that? The little girl was standing right next to me. Just bouncing her head. I said, Jesus, that's you? Jesus Christ. Oh my God. She was so special. So special. She was so special.
Not only did she mentor Natina, but also helped Corrupt navigate his exit from Death Row.
Was it easy to leave, you know, contract-wise and stuff like that, or was
Never.
it? No, not easy.
No, the one who taught me how to leave was Lisa Left Eye Lopez.
Right, because she was with Death Row at one point.
Right. Before all of that, when I left Death Row, it was Lisa who taught me how to leave.
And how was that?
How I could leave business-wise.
And she worked a lot with you guys?
Oh, definitely, man. Okay. Lisa was a worker. That's all she did was work. Her and Natina, my son's mother, Natina Reed from Blaque.
Yeah.
Natina and Corrupt became engaged and planned to marry in 2001, but their demanding careers led to a postponement. Their relationship gained public attention, especially after they collaborated on the track It's Over, which performed well in the UK.
It's over now, move over. It's my turn now, it's over. The game's shut down.
Then we made It's Over. And when we did that for my album, this I said because we were just clowning, we was having fun. I ain't know it would be a single. Right. So I said, fuck it, because it sounded too much like Hard Knock Life Jigger. I like to be original. So, as we did it, I said, well, we're going to do it. Let's just have some fun. Because Natina was the one that picked the record. She loved it. Like, oh, this is a hit. I would say, okay, whatever. All right, well, you know what? Let's do it. And then I said, well, you know what? You going to write my verse. I'll write your verse.
Yeah, that's real love.
Yeah, because, I'm an MC. Nobody writes my shit. But, hey, we was having fun. Then when they was ready to drop this album, they said, okay, this is the first single. I said, these people, they want to hear gangsters from Corrupt. They were like, no. We talked to radio. We let them hear all the music. They said, give us It's Over. They guaranteed a certain amount of spins. They guaranteed a certain amount of all this shit I really couldn't relate to back then. I was like,
right.
And they was like, man, this is the #1 record from your album right now. And I had to bow down to the game. I had to be like, really? I said, okay, you know what? At least it's me, and Natina. I think we was engaged at the time. Years later on tour with Snoop, I did what I shouldn't do because we never leave, the hotel unless we go in a group when we overseas. And I just walked down the block to the pub. Going to the pub, and I said, let me see if they got any Snoop records on this one. And I said, okay, let me type in Corrupt. And the only record they had of Corrupt, guess what it was?
It's over.
Ain't this so?
That was a sign, brother. That was a sign.
I lost my mind. Actually, Natina passed away. She was gone. And because I couldn't call her and let her know. Damn, Natina, you was right. Because that's all I wanted to let her know was, damn, you was right, girl.
She's right.
In 2002, Natina and rapper Corrupt welcomed their son, Tren. Sadly, the couple separated shortly after she became pregnant. During her pregnancy, she lived with Lisa, who supported her through the birth. Motherhood gave her a renewed sense of purpose, and she often said Tren brought her strength and clarity.
Me and Lisa would just laugh and talk about old memories or whatnot. We was living together previously within the last 3 months right before my son was born. She took very good care of me while I was pregnant, and she always was on this health kick, and I just remember the good times about Lisa.
Though no longer together, she and Corrupt remain devoted co-parents. Today, Tren follows in his mother's footsteps as a talented songwriter.
I try and be strong, but the strongest is Tren.
Indeed.
And being a single father really wasn't hard with Tren because he was so strong himself. He upheld himself and kept himself strong. And now he has one of the #1 young groups that's finna be coming out, which, I would say he got it from me, but no, he didn't get that from me. He got that from Natina. Because he's writing these particular type of songs that I would never write.
Okay. He said, that's not for me.
Yeah, that ain't for me, man. That's Natina. Because he's writing these classic type of things. And me, I'm microphone. Natina was the pen. And you know about that, Talia.
Yes,
the pen. She wrote all the records. She wrote Boom Like an 808 with R. Kelly. She wrote that with R. Kelly. She wrote these records, guys. She was good. And that's how Tren is right now. So, that history is, can't buy it.
Natina stepped back from the spotlight to focus on raising Trin and began exploring new paths, including ministry. Some reports say she joined a Christian ministry and shifted her focus to gospel music, refusing to record secular material.
God bless you. I'm Natina, formerly of the group Blaque, and I'm here with the group Risen. I have noticed that, and I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but the same demonic activity and the same demonic oppression that comes over people who have been out there in the R&B market, do you find, and this is a question that I'm sure a lot of viewers have to ask, do you find the same oppression and demonic activity following you as you rise higher, even in the gospel arena? I've been out there in the world for about 8 years on a stage, singing in big arenas. And when I crossed over, I said, oh, Jesus, I said, am I in the right place? Because there was so much that I just didn't know. I didn't know that some of these people weren't really saved. I didn't know that some of these people, and that was probably my little, my ignorance to it. But I did not know that when people go on the stage and said the name of Jesus, that doesn't necessarily mean that Jesus is on the inside of them.
Years later, Natina returned to the spotlight, appearing as herself in the 2008 faith-based film Till 6 in the Morning by Platinum Souls. In that same year, Blaque reunited to film a reality show titled Blaque in the House.
You are good, man. You are really talented. Like, I haven't been entertained like this in so long.
When I grow up, I'm gonna be a motorcycle boy. That's my cool jacket. With your flames.
The show's main goal was to re-engage their fan base and build anticipation for their upcoming 2008 album. As part of their comeback, the platinum-selling trio also made community appearances, speaking to young girls and inspiring the next generation.
While you sitting here at 17 years old, because mommy got a job, right? Mama got a job. You don't have one, you're in school. Let's get real for a second. We're talking as ladies, right? Mommy got a job. Mama got a job. You don't have one. So now you got to go to class in the morning. Who's going to be there when you wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning and go to school?
In 2010, the group made another attempt at a reunion and began working on a new project called Private Show. However, the album was ultimately shelved due to conflicting priorities among the members. During this time, Natina faced a series of personal challenges that tested her strength and resilience. In mid-2011, she experienced a legal issue that added to the pressures she was already navigating. It was a period of reflection and transition as she worked to regain her footing. Despite the challenges she faced, Natina remained committed to rebuilding her life. Her faith in God never wavered. At a friend's birthday party in December 2011, she publicly expressed gratitude, thanking God for fulfilling His promises.
There are some people that you meet in all walks of life, and I think that all of us here are from all walks of life, whether we made it or not, whether we're aspiring to be that or not. It doesn't matter where you come from or what you're capable of doing. We all know that God is able to do what He said in our lives He would do.
She had reconnected with Blaque, was recording new music, and had even hired an acting agent to help relaunch her career.
At our first studio session. And it's like so much she had to say to me. It's like she was apologizing for everything. She wanted to get it all out. And I was taken back, but it was great. And it was like having my sister back.
Me and Brandi and Natina all went and we performed 808 on stage, which was super cool. Just to finally get back on stage, it meant more than I can even express right now.
Her comeback was gaining momentum until her life was tragically cut short in October 2012. By the fall of 2012, Natina was on the verge of a comeback. She had recently reunited with her bandmates for a performance at the Left Eye Music Festival.
Be making circles like a figure. You know it feels good from head to toe. Now hold on to me, baby, here we go. You'll be going boom, baby, boom, baby, boom. And I'll be going, ooh, baby, ooh, baby.
Plans were underway for a new album and a reality show. She was writing again recording and had just begun working on a Jimi Hendrix soundtrack. Friends described her as hopeful, focused, driven, and ready to reclaim her place in the spotlight. But on the night of October 26th, everything changed.
Nothing was going to separate these three girls. But then, within a couple of days after that, I got a call. And on the other line was Sky. And they said to me, "You haven't heard?" And I said, "Heard what?" And it said, "Mom, Natina's dead." And that's all I remember. It just was unreal.
With archive footage no longer available and limited details surrounding the incident, I chose to visit the scene myself in 2025. This is the reported location of the event. The area is a busy commercial corridor bordered by suburban neighborhoods and serves as a connector between nearby cities. 13 years ago, around 10:30 p.m., a 911 call reported that a woman had been struck by a red Honda Accord on Lawrenceville Highway. According to police, both the driver and passenger stopped at the scene immediately. One called for help, the other attempted CPR. The woman was later identified as Natina Reed. She was rushed to Gwinnett Medical Center and pronounced dead at 10:59 p.m. She was just 32 years old, 2 days shy of her 33rd birthday. At the time, Natina was staying at an extended stay motel while preparing to move into a new home. She was just 12 miles away when she was struck. Her father later said she had been on the phone while crossing the street. The identity of the caller was never revealed.
She was on the phone. She was walking across the street on the phone. The next thing, she's on the floor.
But I'm sure it played a big part in it.
Though her bandmate Shamari confirmed they spoke earlier that night, police and family were unsure where she was coming from or going, with no open businesses nearby, no witnesses, no footage, just unanswered questions.
Gwinnett County Police and Reed's parents are trying to piece together the story about the moments before she was hit and killed here on Lawrenceville Highway north of Lilburn Friday night. Police tell me no charges are pending against the driver who hit her. They say the driver stopped and called for help and her passenger performed CPR.
The identities of the driver and passenger were never made public. Authorities said that as the only known witnesses, their names were withheld in accordance with standard procedure during an active investigation. And since no charges were filed, there was no legal obligation to release them. At that time, her mother expressed deep frustration with how the case was handled. The family wasn't informed of Natina's death until 5 hours after the accident. When they asked for basic information, time of the crash, location, her belongings, they were met with silence. It wasn't until their attorney announced a press conference that police finally released the report.
We're not looking to be victims. We're not seeking to be angry. But we do need a resolve.
In Georgia, pedestrian accidents are treated as high-priority emergencies, with dispatchers trained to quickly deploy EMS, police, and fire services. These calls typically receive a response within 8 to 12 minutes in urban areas. The scene was also less than a mile from a fully equipped fire station. Such a delay raises serious questions about whether 911 was called promptly or if there were breakdowns in emergency coordination. Natina was on the verge of a comeback, reuniting with Blaque, creating new music, and stepping back into the spotlight. But like her mentor Lisa, her life ended in a sudden crash that left behind grief and unanswered questions. Fans and celebrities mourned, but confusion lingered. Today, the motel where she last stayed is being transformed into housing for vulnerable youth and seniors.
A lot of people like to think Gwinnett is great, success lives here, but so does poverty, so does homelessness.
This new affordable housing project will offer 73 units, all of which will be set aside for low-income households making less than $45,000 a year. Also, 70% of the units will be reserved for seniors, homeless youth, and children aging out of the foster care system.
A quiet legacy of hope. Through it, her spirit may still help others find a second chance.
I missed her because there was nobody like her. She never let anybody tell her she couldn't, even when I couldn't understand it.
I feel like a part of me passed away too. I was in a state of brokenness. I was acting out. I was having issues in my marriage. I was trying to find meaning to try to cope, but there was just no answers. And I had to get therapy. It took me 3 years to finally come out of that state of brokenness.
It was like now we have this overwhelming responsibility to keep going because the two people that were our biggest champions were gone. If we didn't want to do it for each other anymore, we had to do it for them.
Just like TLC could never replace Lisa. Just like that, Blaque could never replace Natina.
This is absolutely devastating. I will continue to keep my thoughts and prayers with the family, friends, and fans of Natina. Maybe it's just me, but every time I think of her and her legacy, I just feel like accountability is missing. And it's like that for a lot of our fallen stars. You all, let me know your thoughts and your opinions down below. Let's please respect the victim and the family in the comments. I love you all dearly. And with that being said, please don't forget to check on your loved ones.